I like that history.
Yeah, I know.
But it's like.
What do you think?
Thank you so much. Just deal with it. Yeah, pass this off then.
Yeah.
So you guys.
So the slides I have both projected, right?
Perfect.
Nothing else?
Yeah, I probably can't stay for the meeting, I think I work on some other stuff, but, like, my number.
Thank you, Alex.
Everything covered.
Did you bring the oath from the office?
Request and.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Did you bring the oath from the office?
You know,
I can pull it up on my, tablet.
Where?
Yeah, that'd be great. Where?
Oh, Bree, did you bring this?
I know it's the Constitution.
So they weren't, so their plan wasn't to spend their own money,
I
they
know.
went to the college. So they wouldn't be looking to do that in the future, they'd just be looking to give it to us because it was spent.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's. I'll find Bridget, they will notify us on that and better. Thank you. Did you leave the charger in the office? Yeah. Okay.
Could you actually turn this off right now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I just take it for you? You can just. How are you?
We're very close.
Yeah.
Get very personal here.
You guys.
Y'all suddenly so far away over there.
I know.
It is,
So, the levels, I did it off like. And then I gave you like a set amount of minutes I could leave it to take for all of that. It's pretty much it.
Yeah, so I just keep going after
Yeah,
that.
fine.
Thank you, Bree.
Sorry.
You're welcome.
What are you looking for? It should be, I think.
Oh yeah, we are being live streamed, so everything you say is being recorded right now. Just letting you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know
miss
how
something.
that-
That just means I'm getting more money.
For starters,
It's because I'm biased. I like.
It's 4 minutes for starters.
Oh, you like one.
Okay. Even if you
Super
don't use
quick.
all that, then 10 minutes for level 8, second of launch.
Yeah.
5 for the, 5 for level 6,
timers
that's
at
the same,
50 seconds,
and then
like-
5 plus.
I started panic after there's like 10 left.
And then everyone for reports, I allocated 3 minutes. Except for you, Julian, you got 4 minutes. because-
Okay. Reports. Mine is getting referred to the minutes because, I have. I'm doing so much. I do have stuff to say.
Cat, it's cookie day.
Where?
Cookie day. Cookie day. I don't know yet. That's half the fun is showing up and seeing if there's good ones or okay. I guess.
Oh, it's Thursday, 12. How many stalkers do we have?
That's why we go after.
Yes. One. We heard.
Well, and because we, and by we, I mean Cat has work.
Yes.
There's.
As it feels so empty. I know, I don't like it.
We have 22 sets.
We should.
Where?
50. We went from like 50 to 22 and I love. 22, 24 is a better number, my favorite number. Oh, it was invited, I swear.
I swear it was invited.
Everyone else.
That was.
Well, that's out of 22 seats. But I don't think we don't have.
Oh, God.
I'm good. How are you?
It's okay.
What is your name?
It needs to be more than 11.
Well, yeah. I was so curious.
So we need 12.
I keep reminding myself for what? Oh, you can order so much donuts for $200.
Yeah.
For a Saturday. You can do a fun Saturday.
It's not your fault, but you still gotta, you're the one that can talk about it the best, so.
I started using this at OneDrive, and I'm like, wow, this is fantastic.
It is really good.
I like Starbucks.
It
takes out so many of the files from my OneDrive, because sometimes
I've ordered Camel.
all of my files
Several
find
ways.
it, I'm like, no.
Oh,
my class
if
file.
anybody needs most wipes, I have like, I think I
So
have
much
45
OneDrive.
still.
I don't know how many I have left, but I have been using them like crazy.
I thought I was, and I thought I was gonna
I
go
also
and scan and have like 30 left, and they're like,
but
I
I
have
put mine here
51.
because it's so much easier.
I'm like,
I think we should start the meeting with Greg telling us a story earlier.
My story.
Greg has stories. He has good stories.
I think he has a story. Do we have time for a Greg story?
No.
No, we start in a minute.
Another time, Greg.
Story about you, Kat. Is that what
Sure.
it is? Story about you.
I don't know that I want that story.
Meeting to order. We'll move into roll call.
Senator Anamikis. Here. Senator Olive. Senator Walshmeyer. Senator Boyle. Here. Senator Beecher.
Here.
Senator Bouchard. Senator Daniels. Here. Senator Free. Here. Senator Dillon.
Here.
Senator Nascimento. Here. Senator Gavin.
Here.
Senator Holman. Senator Lemieux. Senator Matsubara. Here. Senator Oros. Here. Senator Pavlik.
Here.
Senator Pelosi here. Senator Rigby. Senator Rodriguez. Here. Senator Sidlecki. Here. Senator Sweeney. Here. Senator Warren. Secretary Goodman. Chairperson Greenwood. Here. Chairperson Merrickwin. Here. Treasurer Thurston. Here. Chairperson Silver. Here. Vice President Philip. Here. President Myers.
Here. Great. Hey, everyone, welcome back. So the transitions meeting minutes have not been edited yet. They will be completed for next meeting. But nonetheless, we have a lot on the agenda today, so we're gonna move into business, starting with the swearing in of the College of Arts and Sciences alternate. So Molly Allah. Alapi, thank you. Molly Alapi will be taking Secretary Goodman's seat as the College of Arts and Sciences representative. So Molly, please follow me over here to get sworn in. Great. Okay, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Molly Arafi,
Do solemnly swear that I will,
Do solemnly swear that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
fulfill the duties and responsibilities
fulfill the duties and responsibilities
of state your position,
of the College of Arts and Sciences representative,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
uphold and follow
uphold and follow
the policies of the Student Senate
the policies of the Student Senate
and the Student Senate Constitution.
and the Student Senate Constitution.
Great, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, it is. Okay. Now we'll be moving into Senate 101, which I don't know why I sat down, because it's Vice President Kilday and I. You want to pull one from, right? Oh, shit. Okay, yep, they're both on. So for every new senator, Senate 101 is something that we do at the beginning of the term and then after the midterm election, just to kind of give a refresher of what we do as a student senate, the various standing committees and just some rules items. This was created by President Kaufman and updated by me. Have to give credit where credit's due. Okay, so starting off, please take out your phones. If you have not already, join the Senate group me.
You do have to be in both.
Yes, one is for important announcements that the executive board will give, and the other one is for general conversations. And the announcements one is also where we'll be doing voting, so it is definitely important for you to join both.
With the, yes,
Is this a new one or is
this is the new one. So it's 26, 27. With the conversation threads, we do like a lot of happy birthdays, hey, come to this event. We want to create that like group environment.
Just to move the
In
show.
the last corner, what is it?
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Come on, guys. Looks like everyone gets a chance.
Okay, so. Great, helpful. So what do we do here in Student Senate? We're here to voice student concerns in a formal and professional manner. We talk about a lot of issues that face all of campus or small important parts of campus. It's all about enhancing campus quality of life. We also allocate the student activities fee, which is part of everyone's tuition when they come here. And we help organize and charter the clubs and organizations across campus, as well as help those club leadership students with all of their duties and getting everything done.
And then your Student Senate Executive Board, for those of you that might not know, which I hope you do because you're at the transitions meeting, but I'm your president, Blanca Maya,
VP, Becca Kilday.
Jillian Wave. Hi, Jillian. Brianna Wave.
Hi, guys.
Samantha Wave. Great. Pat Wave. Brianna Wave. Josh Wave. Great, now you know your executive board. And contact information, including our emails and cell phone numbers, will be posted on the Kodiak after this meeting. And as we all know, Kodiak will be leaving. So the important contacts information will be in the Student Senate Microsoft group. I believe everyone is in it already, so please utilize that, look in the files. We'll be putting important information and resources in there.
So the Student Senate has 4 standing committees. They are chaired by whoever on e-board has chairperson in front of their title. And we're gonna go into them a little bit.
Yes, but before that, I actually forgot to mention our 2 lovely advisors that Bridget just walked in, so reminded me. We have Greg Matthews, Vice President of very long title, Student Enrollment and that. And then Bridget Grimm, Director of Student Involvement and Connections. Would you please stand up and say hi? And you read books. Great, thank you so much. And now we'll jump into the standing committees.
Yeah, so basically, Finance Committee is in charge of fair allocation of that student activities fee that I mentioned. They conduct audits and budget allocation hearings, and recommend allocations for reclamations based on what exactly is going on with each club's finances. You'll hear a lot of that happening later this meeting.
Bree, you wanna talk a little bit more about your committee?
Yeah, of course. I created a little spiel, so I'll just read that off for you guys. For this upcoming term, one of my main goals for the committee is to make our work more clear and involved and more useful for everyone. This past term, we worked on improving club budgets and how funding is tracked. That was seen through the new Excels that we created. Moving forward, I would like senators to actually understand where money is spent and why, not just voting on it. Being in this committee also offers a hands-on experience with auditing, where you look at club budgets, analyze their spending, and ensure clubs are held accountable. So if that's not something you're interested in doing, then I wouldn't recommend joining my committee. But if you are interested in finance, law, business, or just want some useful experience, I would definitely recommend joining my committee.
Great, thank you for that. And then we have the legislative committee. They address constitutional questions and issues on the Senate floor. They're in charge of making sure that we're in compliance with our rules and violations may lead to consequences. They also draft constitutions and secure Senate approval for new clubs and organizations on campus. Jillian, do you want to talk more about your committee?
Sure. So this term, I look forward to working with some of you on my committee to improve some current legislative processes and stay in close contact with clubs and organizations around campus. There's a lot of organizations who need an updated constitution due to the 3-year mandate or implementation of an impeachment clause. So I hope to get those updated in a timely manner. Additionally, I hope the legislative committee can work as a resource for all clubs and organizations or anyone else who may need it. And then we should provide continuous support to newer clubs and organizations to promote their growth.
Great, thank you for that. I figured it out.
So the Public Relations Committee is all about outreach and marketing for the Student Senate, as well as promoting other clubs on campus and their events. They do a lot of organizing and working events to promote Senate in the community, and they run the social media accounts. Chat?
Yeah, that's mine. So this year I want to focus on getting more of the senators to work on the social media accounts with me, along with at open houses, involvement fairs. My committee is the only committee that does in-person events, so people who are on admissions, stuff like that. If you know, like, those are things that you have to work for other things, I wouldn't recommend joining my committee just because I need you there to work for me, so conflict of interest, but keep that in mind. So yeah, and come make TikToks with me.
Thank you for that, Kat. Okay, and then campus relations, they handle formal and informal grievances presented to the student senate by the student body. They investigate and propose large-scale investments to enhance campus quality of life. And then they also connect members of the community together to resolve issues. Samantha, do you want to talk to us?
So some of the things I want to work on this term is setting up internships with facilities, so students can be directly involved with the concerns revolving facilities, like the work order system. I also want to set up foundational guidelines for this position because it's kind of up in the air what I'm supposed to be doing and what we're supposed to be doing. I also want to get an overall climate on upperclassmen satisfaction because I know there's a lot of issues with them not being appreciated. And then overall improving communication with the student body and.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Okay.
One more thing about the committees. Everyone will be put on a committee. We're going to basically put out a form and you can rank your preference. So then we will evenly distribute everyone amongst these committees. So think about where you might want to land based on those.
Yes, great. And now we're going to get into the student senate rules package, which is the vice president's main
It
thing.
is my main thing. So the rules package will be implemented, is implemented at the start of each term. We will be working on that to hopefully bring it to you guys next week for approval. It establishes binding rules for all senators. It's sort of outlines how we vote and function. And any senator can propose amendments to the rules for any reason. And we would talk about it and vote on it. Violations to the rules package may result in disciplinary actions. That's why we have it for accountability. And does the next slide say that? Some key
Yeah,
rules.
great. So one of the main rules is our general Senate attendance policy. If you are going to be absent from a meeting, please 24 hours notice required for non-emergencies. If it is an emergency, we understand, please just make sure to email me and Secretary Brown. You can CC Vice President Kilday. However, please make sure to get it to me and Secretary Brown. Wave one more time, Secretary Brown. That is Secretary Brown. Email her. Okay, and then attendance violations and dismissals can be appealed. If I'm correct, it's, yep, 2 illegal absences can lead to removal, but you can appeal this. And I don't want to say we're not too strict on attendance. We definitely need you here and things like that. But again, please just email us, text us, and we will work with you. Just let us know ahead of time if you can. And for emergencies, please just try to explain the emergency to the best of your ability. And then failure to submit monthly reports does count as an attendance violation. Please make sure to submit your monthly reports on time. A little bit later on, we'll talk about monthly reports more, but Secretary Brown will send out reminders. So again, just try to make sure you're submitting that before it's due. And then failure to attend committee meetings could also count as an attendance violation, but we'll get more into that as the presentation goes on.
So the committee attendance policy is really at the discretion of your chair. So we would be getting attendance violations if they're letting us know that you're not showing up, not participating, if they're not doing in-person meetings, not responding to the group chat, things like that. Notice again must be given to your chairperson if you can't attend something that they are creating, and then what is brought to the Senate table is at the discretion of your committee chairperson as well.
And then our entire policy, everyone here is following it. Good job. It's business casual, but so that would be like tops that are polos, button-up blouses, bottoms that are khaki, black pants, jeans, or skirts. Again, just make sure that you look representable. Don't, yeah, I tried saying that word, guys. Just don't show up in like pajamas. You know, look your best. We're being filmed right now, so it's
And
important
everyone
to show
should
up.
be getting a Senate polo. I see some of you are wearing yours, and you will, that counts very easily, quick and easy to throw over whatever you're wearing for the day. Our technology policy, so laptops and cell phones are prohibited during a general Senate meeting. Keyboard is exempt because we have a lot of documents to go through during the meetings. If you need to answer your phone because you think it may be an emergency, just step out of the room and take that, and we can talk at the end of the meeting to figure out like what's going on. We've had situations like that. We would rather you step out to handle that than be in here on your phone. We do digital votes now on GroupMe, so that is the exception, but we will say, hey, take out your phones to vote, and then when the vote is over, your phone should be going away.
Yes. And then conflict of interest during voting. If you're an active member of a club, you must abstain from voting on that particular thing. So for example, we're going to get into budgets. If you're an active member of any club whose budgets we're passing, you should abstain from that. Because you are involved with that club. If you attended a club meeting in the past month but are unsure of your status, you should probably abstain from voting. And then you can discuss and support your clubs you're a part of, but again, you should not vote on the business related matter. And then voting on business related to a club you're a part of can be grounds for impeachment.
If you're not sure, just abstain. And then some other miscellaneous rules. Disruptions during meetings can result in your dismissal from Senate for the day. We're not going crazy with this rule, but anything significant. Meetings are required to be open, but we can enter an executive session for any confidential discussions that we would need to have. We'd shut off the Zoom, and anything that was said during that time would not leave this room, and you would be held to that. Rules can be suspended at any time from the rules package, and it can be amended during the meeting by a majority vote. That would be somebody motions to amend it, and there's a second, the discussion, and then we vote. There are certain votes that require a 2/3 supermajority to pass. We will let you know when those come up. And then if you're planning on saying a long speech during something that you're passionate about or some of the discussions that come up, please submit it to our secretary. She should not have to type it all up, especially if you already have it typed up.
Yes. Okay, so now we'll get into what makes a good representative report. It's status of your constituency. You're recommending things to investigate, or you are investigating. And then you're recommending action to be taken on that specific thing that you're investigating. It also should spark conversations, and we'll get into how a sample report. Yeah, that's kind of
It's
visible.
really small, but you should be working with your constituency. I don't think there's any constituencies that are completely new members. We'll deal with that in the fall with the freshman representatives. But work with the senators that have been here a little bit longer. You should be going into detail. We want excruciating detail on these. And then verbally, you can just report like a little less. But we really want to hear how your constituency is doing and how you're able to represent them.
Pro tip, maybe create a group chat with the person if it's more than 2 representatives, but make sure to have that fluid communication. And then Robert's Rules of Order. This is the guide to our meetings. It dictates how we discuss and vote on items. However, we have a cheat sheet for it as well to pass to you all. And at the end, it'll say, we are pretty lax on our Robert's Rules. It does kind of format how we conduct our meetings. However, if you don't say it correctly, like how it is in Robert's Rules of Order, that's completely fine. We will work with you and we can even tell you how it would be said. The president and legislative chairpersons are charged with ensuring we're following it. And again, you don't need to be a Robert's Rules expert to be a successful senator.
So again, this is a little bit more about voting. If a motion is put forward, we'll go to a vote, a yes vote. You're agreeing with the motion, no vote, you disagree, abstain. You shouldn't be doing this if you just don't have an opinion. If you haven't formed your opinion, you should be asking more questions during that discussion. But an abstention would be if you are choosing to remain neutral, if you are part of that club, things like that. And then we don't really do a lot of roll call votes anymore, but if it does come up, we'll go down the line by name and you can say pass and we'll just come back to it.
And then motions. This is your power and really how to get your agenda done. Any senator can make a main motion after receiving recognition from me. Motions are to be done if you want us to vote on something or you want us to discuss something. If a motion is already being discussed, you cannot make a random motion. Only amendments related to that motion is allowed. And again, I know this sounds like a lot, but we have the cheat sheets. We'll give it to you. And also, and you'll see it happening right after this. Appointed executive board members do not have this power. They make recommendations for the Senate to adopt, and these must be so moved to be discussed. Like, for example, Treasurer Thurston, make a recommendation.
At this time, make the recommendation to allocate the 2028 class council $6,100.
So moved.
Second.
And then we would begin to discuss, and that's an absurd amount. We're not doing that. But yes, great. That's how executive board members would do it. Motions require a second upon voting, as Vice President Kilday discussed, and then we'll discuss it and vote upon it.
So seconds don't mean that you agree with the motion. You don't have to agree, but every motion needs a second in order for us to discuss it. So even if you don't agree, just to get it on the table, you can second. And only voting members can second a motion, which is why, again, the appointed executives won't be seconding.
And then points, again, these are things that you could use. Not everyone uses it, to be honest, but a point of order is when someone is speaking out of term or an action being motioned upon would break our rules. That's used by executive board president.
Technically, anyone.
Anyone could, yeah. And then point of personal privilege is something that is kind of just towards you. It's to make yourself feel comfortable. So like, for example, it's like asking to turn down the room temperature or someone's not talking loud enough. Point of inquiry is to ask questions about anything. And then point of parliamentary inquiry is questions specifically about Robert's rules. Potentially someone's doing something out of order, and that would be, yeah, and then that would be discussed upon.
And those are the official terms. You don't have to say point of inquiry to ask a question, but that is technically
The Robert's
the
rules of
Robert's
order.
rules. But like Blanca said, we're not holding you guys to saying point of inquiry before you ask a question.
Advice for the future. Resources can be found in Kodiak, but also on the Student Senate Term One Drive.
As we're moving things around with the transition from Kodiak, we will let you guys know where everything can be accessed. The really, really big thing is say what you want to say. All of this talk about Robert's rules. We care about that, but we'd rather hear what you have to say. Don't let that stop you from speaking your mind, and then we will help you with the structure.
Yeah, ask questions, no matter how dumb it might seem in your head, because someone probably also has the same question as you.
And yeah, share your opinions. You guys represent a specific group of students on campus. Figure out what you want to do for those students this term and work towards that. It's good to have a personal or a constituency agenda.
Yeah, and then talk with your committee chairs frequently. These people are the people you're gonna work with a lot. For any underclassmen, these people could recommend you for their spots potentially when they graduate. So talk with your committee chair, get involved with your committee. And yeah, communication is key. Again, if you need anything, please come to me, Vice President Kilday, anyone on the executive board, even our advisors. We're all here to help you, and we're here to achieve our agenda together. And yeah, that's all I had. So for the sake of time, we are going to table questions. Please write them down if you have any questions, and you can talk to Vice President Kilday and I after this meeting. But considering we have a very long agenda, we want to keep this moving. Yeah. Okay. So we will now move into amendment of reoccurring professional activities funding. I will allocate 3 minutes to this discussion. Treasurer Thurston, the floor is yours.
At this time, I make the recommendation to amend the reoccurring professional activities funding policy.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, yes, the floor is yours.
Thank
Treasurer
you.
Thurston.
Historically, student involvement will get a percentage of what is allocated to the Senate from the student activities fee. Since the Senate's allocation has changed to a flat $700,000, this policy should be amended to reflect $120,000 being allocated to the professional activities funding. For reference, student involvement was allocated $126,000 last term, which reflects 18% of our Senate allocation, and this keeps things more simplistic for the future, and saves us money as well. And this was also talked about and agreed upon with our advisor, Richard Grimm.
Great, I will now open the floor for any questions or comments from senators. Great. Seeing none, then we will move to a group me vote. So please pull out your phones and enter the group me announcements chat. Vice President Kilday is creating that right now. There it is. Great. So again, for everyone's information, a yes vote would mean that you agree to amend this policy, as Treasurer Thurston said. No would be to reject the amendment and keep the previous policy. I don't believe anyone should be abstaining, as there's no conflict.
Yes.
Okay, so with 15 yes votes, 0 no votes, 0 abstentions, the recommendation passes. Great, thank you for that. So now we're going to move into a 5-minute discussion on the dorm and classroom heating situation that's been happening. And we will start with a statement from Greg Matthews. So yeah, Greg, the floor is yours.
Okay. I'll try to keep it brief. So the heating situation is a bit of a misnomer. There's a heat situation. So what happens in Massachusetts is the school is required to have heat for a certain period of time. Some of you might have seen this in the newsletter, but up until May 31, we're supposed to have available heat so that the temperatures, when the heat goes on, would be maintained roughly between 68 and 78 degrees. And so when the heat came up here in April, as you know, today and the last couple of days are not hot days. But the heat is not designed to turn on anymore until after 65 degrees. Some of the challenges that people face in the residence halls is that even residual heat rises. First floors are not as hot as upper floors. And the way the buildings are sealed, how many of you are in dorms right now? Okay, so you know how there's doors that block the different halls? So they're kind of like fire doors and also security doors for the different sections. All of that holds in heat because there's no ventilation that goes through your rooms unless your doors are open. So you'll notice there's different kinds of heat that's in there. So it's not that the heat is on per se, the heat is residual after a hot day, or when the heat comes on because somebody opens up a window downstairs or in a series of places, it tells the heating system it's not 65 degrees anymore, it's a little higher or lower, right? And so it just kind of moves things around a little. We switched things over in May to the cooling system. Now these are older buildings, and so they're not the same system in all of the buildings, right? So, and even in your own home, if you're in a house, they're not the same system, but you can change temperature sometimes and they switch. It's not quite the same in the large buildings. There's a chiller system that comes on, which is what is happening when you're here in the fall. You get the residual summer chiller system until it gets to a certain temperature, and then we have to turn things on. I think it's in October that way. So it was hot for many people, but at the same time, it was temporary. And so there isn't really something in place that compensates for that outside of fans that might be occurring within the building. Because we can't just flip-flop those, unfortunately, in some of those larger buildings. And that's why it happened the way it did. So I'm sorry it was uncomfortable. It was that way in some of the administration buildings too, which you went on some of your classes, you probably experienced a little of the same thing. So it's not easily controlled in centralized buildings of the age of the ones that we have. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. Is there anything more about that? Okay.
Great. I'll open the floor to any senators' questions. If anyone has a question, Senator Julio.
I just have one question, just like,
I'll let you see.
it's okay. So just speaking broadly here, I understand that, the heat cannot shut off until a certain point. We understand that. However, in buildings where the heat should still technically be maintained around a certain temperature, my question is, like, I live in Southwood on the 4th floor. I know it was gonna be hot.
Yeah.
But my vents were still blowing hot air. Even when we had temperatures set, I'm sure throughout the building to be whatever the lowest to that degree would mean.
I will have to check the facilities on that because what should happen in the system is when it has to be below 65 for it to start firing again. Because I'd asked them about that. They told me that it was set at that temperature. What can happen though is because different parts of the building are potentially cooler, it could be triggering the system. So I don't know. I'll have to ask them about that.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Senator, sorry, I motion to allocate 2 more minutes to this discussion.
Second.
Okay, hearing a second, 2 more minutes allocated. Senator DePrey.
Yes. Okay, so my question was just about yesterday, because I know from the understanding that I'm getting, the heat should still be on,
But yesterday, at least in CSP, I do research, I work in the vivarium with the rats. We were having a major concern yesterday because our rooms with our rats in them were under 60 degrees. So I guess I just wanna know if that was a issue with the heating system, if it had turned off. Or if there's some other part to it that I'm missing, just because the temperature is stable now, but it was something that we had been worried about. And so I just want to be able to make sure that I kind of understand how it works. So that I can at least make sure that the animals that are under my care are going to have the proper temperatures that they need.
Sure. So I think that's a situation where there might have needed to be some alert to that, because if it's different than the rest of the building, that's probably not what's supposed to happen. There are some rooms that are controlled separately in different buildings, but the majority of them, like here, is kind of a unified heating system for the building. So I'm not sure about what happens there, but if you are concerned, you can definitely check to find out, because sometimes things do go wrong for the systems.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Senator Bolschmeider.
I was wondering if you had any recommendations for students on how they could get their dorm buildings or their rooms at least less hot, because I know it's really frustrating, especially as someone who lives in a log suite, that our common area is actually hotter than our rooms themselves, like the area in between all of the wing. And then we're watching classes on the 3rd floor get moved to the 1st because it's so unbearably hot, but we still have to live in those conditions.
Yeah. The only real solution I can think of, and I live on campus also, and so it does also happen that way, but different buildings have different flows, of wind that comes through. In those instances, like I was describing, some of those blocked areas are going to feel hotter because of the rise of that. And the windows being open without fans don't create a whole lot of flow in that. So, I can talk to facilities and see there's some ways to have something available in the dorms when those things happen. Because really the only thing we can do at that point is the flow of air. And if people don't have fans, it's a little more difficult, or some of those public areas. So I'll ask about that and see. I don't have an immediate answer for you because it's the condition that I was describing, the way the buildings hold things in.
Okay, the time has expired and we need to move on for the sake of the agenda. However, if you do have questions, please feel free to pass that along to the executive board and we can talk more of that with Greg.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining
guys.
us, Greg. Have a nice day.
Yeah, you too.
So now we will move into the initial budget approvals for starter clubs. I will allocate 4 minutes to this discussion, and Treasurer Thurston, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Just a small note before we start, all of these club budgets are uncontested, meaning they are getting, I am recommending they be funded, what they requested exactly, so that's why none of the representatives are here today. If you would like me to expand on my reasoning for an allocation, please let me know. I'm keeping this pretty standard because from what I've reviewed, it seems clear that they should receive what they're requesting. So starting off with disc golf club, at this time, I make the recommendation for disc golf club to receive a starter initial allocation of $250.
So moved. Second. Great, hearing a second, floor is yours.
Okay, so this club activated last term, but did not get the chance to apply for a budget. They clearly outlined their needs to hold events and create campus engagement, resulting in us, or me, hoping to fund their whole request.
Thank you. I'll open the floor to senators' comments. Any senators' comments? Seeing none, we'll move to a voice vote. So all those in favor, aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. Congratulations. Okay, we will now move into initial budget approvals for level A. At level A clubs, I'll allocate 10 minutes to this discussion. Treasurer Thurston, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Starting with Construction Management Association of America. At this time, I make the recommendation for CMAA to receive a level A initial allocation of $750.
So moved.
Second.
Great, hearing a second, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. CMAA has done a great job with following Senate policies and spending their money responsibly. They are going above and beyond by planning 4 events when they're only required 2 per year. So I hope to recognize that by funding their full cost.
Great. Any senators, questions, comments? Great, seeing none, we'll move on to a voice vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, sorry. Those abstaining? Seeing none, motion passes, recommendation passes.
Moving on to Feminists Unite. At this time, I make the recommendation for Feminists Unite to receive a level A initial allocation of $600.
So moved.
Second.
Great, floor is yours.
Despite a tough executive board transition, Feminists Unite persevered and helped engaging events. They cut their budget themselves from $750 to $600, reflecting what the finance committee reclaimed last term. Thus, I look to fund their full request.
Open the floor to any questions? Great, seeing none, we'll move on to a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Hearing none, then the motion passes. Congratulations, Feminists Unite.
All right, quickly moving into financial literacy. At this time, I make the recommendation for financial literacy to receive a level A initial allocation of $450.
So moved.
Second.
Financial literacy was allocated $750 last term and cut their budget themselves to $450. I agree with this cut and believe this amount is exactly what they need to be successful in hosting their required 2 events.
Any senators' questions? Seeing none, we'll move to a voice vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Great, hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation, I can say one. It is, yeah.
Perfect. Now moving into Improv on the Rocks. At this time, I make the recommendation for Improv on the Rocks to receive a level A initial allocation of $425.
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. Overall, things are pretty standard with this club. They consistently follow Senate policies, communicate well. They're never late on monthly reports. They haven't been frozen, so I look to fund their full request.
Any senators' questions? Great, seeing none, we'll move to a voice vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? With that, the motion passes. Congratulations, Ms. Veronica.
Moving into Marketing Association. At this time, I make the recommendation for Marketing Association to receive a level A initial allocation of $700.
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. The Marketing Association previously got $500, or received last year $500, but asked for an increase since they showed consistent effort to fundraise by raising over $1,000, which is very impressive for a club level A. I thought it was only right to honor their request. We appreciate their hard work and look forward to their successful events on campus.
Great, any senators' questions? Great, seeing none, we'll move on to a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Hearing none, the motion passes. Congratulations, Marketing Association.
Moving into Pre-Law Society, at this time, I make the recommendation for Pre-Law Society to receive a level A initial allocation of $300.
So moved.
Second.
Pre-Law Society has done a great job with actively engaging with the community and building their membership. They were allocated $150 last term and have spent down to the dime on their allocation. This recommendation is definitely well deserved as they're moving up from starter to club level A.
Great, any senators' questions? Great, seeing none, we'll move on to a voice vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Hearing none, then the motion passes. Congratulations, Pre-Law Society.
Moving into Writers Forum, at this time, I make the recommendation for the Writers Forum to receive a level A initial allocation of, I didn't put the number, I'm tabling that, let's move to B's, I'll go back at the end.
Great, okay, so we'll now move into the initial budget approvals for level B clubs. I will allocate 5 minutes to this discussion. Treasurer Thurston, the floor is yours again.
Thank you. At this time, I make the recommendation for Gardening Club to receive a level B initial allocation of $1,250.
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. The Gardening Club has put consistent effort into holding events. They have done many collabs and have gone over the event requirement. Due to this dedication, I feel as though this recommendation will allow them to continue to innovate.
Thank you. Any senators' questions? Great, seeing none, then we'll move to a voice vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those abstaining? Those opposed, my bad. Those abstaining, 2 abstentions. Okay, with that, the motion passes. Congratulations, Gardening Club.
All right, moving into pickleball club. At this time, I make a recommendation for pickleball club to receive a level B initial allocation of $1,250.
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. From the start, pickleball club jumped right into event planning. I consistently see their advertisements, Instagram posts, and creative events around campus. It's clear that this club is a favorite on campus, so this funding will help them support that capacity of students, which is consistently over 60 every week.
Any senators' questions? Seeing none, then we will move to a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining?
Aye.
With that, the motion passes. Congratulations.
We'll circle back to Writers Wall.
Okay, so we'll move back into the level A club's initial budget approvals. Treasurer Thurston, the floor is yours.
Thank you. At this time, I make the recommendation for the Writers Forum to receive a level A initial allocation of $375.
So moved.
Second.
The Writers Forum is another standard club who follows all policies and procedures, thus receiving their full request.
Any senators' questions? Hearing none, we'll move to a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? With that, the motion passes. Congratulations. Okay, and with that, we will now move into initial budget approvals for level C clubs. I will allocate 5 minutes to this discussion. Treasurer Thurston, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Starting with Historical Society, at this time, I make a recommendation for Historical Society to receive a level C initial allocation of $1,750.
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. Historical Society is another standard club who works to hit event requirements, follow procedures, and has proven to be actively engaged on campus. And I believe that this recommendation will allow them to continue to do just that.
Any senators' questions? Seeing none, we'll move to a voice vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining?
Aye.
Okay, with that, the motion passes. Congratulations.
Perfect. Moving into Psychology Club. At this time, I make the recommendation for Psychology Club to receive a level C initial allocation of $1,750.
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. Psychology Club is another standard club who has done exactly what is expected of them and more. Thus should receive their requested allocation.
Okay, any senators' questions? Okay, seeing none, we will now move on to a voice vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Okay, with that, the motion passes. Congratulations, Psychology Club. And with that, we will now move into the initial budget approvals for level D clubs. I will allocate 5 minutes to this discussion, and Treasurer Thurston, the floor is yours again.
Thank you. We'll start with Warp Gaming. At this time, I make the recommendation for Warp Gaming to receive a level D initial allocation of $11,725.
So moved.
Perfect. Warp Gaming has done an excellent job with holding their events, advertising, and getting campus engagement. We thank the club members for their work and look forward to their events next term.
Any senators' questions? Great, seeing none, we'll move on to a voice vote. Those in favor? Aye. Those abstaining? Those opposed? Those abstaining? With that, the motion passes. Congratulations. Treasurer Thurston.
Thank you. Moving into United and Mutually Equal, at this time, I make the recommendation for you and me to receive a level D initial allocation of $600,000.
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. You and me hold some of the largest events on campus, with one of them being the most popular, World Fest. While they managed their $25,000 allocation last term, they were restricted and didn't have much room for creative freedom. This allocation will allow them to function as well as include meaningful touches like live entertainment and other factors into their events.
Great. Any senators' questions? No? Great. Seeing none, then we'll move into a voice vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Oh, yeah. Those abstaining? Aye. And with that, the motion passes. Congratulations. Okay, so that has concluded with the initial budget approvals. This was a great,
today.
simple meeting up for today. Thank you to all those clubs. Congratulations. Thank you, Treasurer Thurston. We will be having more budget meetings and more to come on that. So now we will move into visitor comments. Are there any visitors' comments? Great, seeing none, we'll move on to reports with executive reports, starting with Finance Committee. I'll allocate 3 minutes. Treasurer Thurston, the floor is yours.
I don't really have much to report on in terms of meetings. I will report on all these initial allocations. I am working towards getting those all done. We'll have some more next week and we'll probably have a special meeting during the summer to finish them. I will be sending out emails to clubs regarding all of these allocations, maybe at the end of the day today. And I'm also financing Spring Event and tracking their budget, so I have been doing that as well. And that is all I have.
Great, thank you, Treasurer Thurston. Now, the Legislative Committee, I'll allocate 4 minutes. Chairperson Silver, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Since we really didn't get time to introduce ourselves at the transitions meeting, I'll start with that. My name is Jillian Silver, and I'm a junior majoring in mechanical engineering. I'm currently serving as a legislative chair for this upcoming term, and I served past 2 terms as the College of Engineering representative, one of them. And I pretty much already talked about what I plan to do throughout this upcoming term, so I'll skip over that. Additionally, we wanted to touch on a recent incident of election fraud occurring on campus. So we just want to ensure that all clubs and organizations are following all necessary procedure during time of elections. So for those of you who are student leaders or executive board members of a club or organization, Bridget had sent out an email at the beginning of last semester highlighting good election practices. So prior to any election held by your club or organization, please thoroughly review your club's constitution, which is hopefully up to date, and the good election practices document if you have access to it, to ensure that all proper procedure is being followed to avoid any issues or unfairness. And if you're unsure of something or have questions regarding this, please do not hesitate to reach out to student involvement. I'm sure Bridget can help you, or one of us can likely find information that you may need. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you so much, Chairperson Silver. Next, we'll move into the Campus Relations Committee. I'll allocate 4 minutes to this. Chairperson Marquin, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. Just an introduction. I'm Samantha Marquin. I am a criminal justice and psychology major, and I'm going to begin with what I would have said at the transition meeting. Last term showed how impactful this position can be. Initiatives like the student grievance forum give students a direct voice, bringing attention to concerns such as facilities, food services, and general transparency. Efforts to support student organizations and improve campus spaces prove that even small, focused changes can make a meaningful difference in student life. Building on that foundation, my focus this term is centered on strengthening communication. Right now, many students feel disconnected from decisions that affect them. By creating clearer, more consistent communication between students, administration, and campus services, we can build trust and reduce that sense of frustration. Another priority is improving the experience of student organizations. Every club plays a role in shaping campus life, and they should be supported and recognized. Creating a more collaborative and inclusive environment allows organizations to grow and strengthen the campus as a whole. I also plan to continue exploring campus improvement initiatives, including ideas that have been previously proposed, for example, a facilities internship that allows students to be directly involved in addressing real campus challenges while gaining valuable experience. I also intend to look into the overall dormitory concerns that students have been expressing, as well as overall quality of their experience here at Western New England University. Acknowledging the grievances of different student groups, such as upperclassmen, could also prove to be beneficial and is something I'd like to address during my term. Pinpointing foundational problems this term would allow future individuals to go further and not be stopped by the instability that comes with this position. At its core, this work is about making sure student voices lead to real outcomes and that our campus continues to grow in ways that reflect the needs of the people who are part of it every day.
Thank you for that, Chairperson. Okay, with that, next is the Public Relations Committee. I'll allocate 3 minutes. Chairperson Greenwood, the floor is yours.
I did get to speak at transitions, and I believe 98% of you know me, but my name is Catherine Greenwood. I'm your public relations chair. But right now I'm working on downloading and editing the photos from the transitions meeting. So I'll be posting something about that today. And then in the group me, I will pin it for easier, but it is a photo album drive. So all of you can have access to every single photo that I take, which is a lot. But I'll be working through that. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Thank you, Chairperson Greenwood. Next, we have the Secretary of Academic Affairs. I will allocate 4 minutes. Secretary Goodman, the floor is yours.
Awesome, thank you very much. So I did not get to speak at transitions, and I printed out my speech. I'll also start with a small little introduction. I'm just Joshua Goodman. I'm a junior history major, minors in political science and education. And now I'll dive into what I wrote here. Hello, everyone, and thank you, President Amaya and Vice President Gilday. Figured I'd keep with the formal introduction. I'm beyond honored to assume the role here as Secretary of Academic Affairs for the 26-27 term. And I want to thank the new administration again for allowing me to advance into a new student leadership position and take the next step in representing and loving WNE. Just for a brief agenda overview, during my term, I really want to work hard to provide relief to students through OERs, which are open education resources. These will help cut barriers to education by lowering the per course cost, such as textbooks, readings, and other resources. They would become free for a wide range of courses. This will help open doors, not close them. Next, I want to create I plan on creating a Student Senate Standing Committee for Academic Affairs, which will help me not only gather broader insights from a wider range of perspectives, but also involve more students in upper level student leadership positions, which I think is very important. Also, as voiced by a great majority of student voters, I'll be pushing for an officially blocked out common hour for Tuesdays and Thursdays. With the voice of students and the support from the registrar, we can make this happen. And students will stop missing vital events due to a debatable common hour. And lastly, for now, I will help streamline the transfer from Kodiak Learning Systems to Canvas by answering any questions or concerns and providing tips on how best to transfer and save previous data, likely in the fashion of a manual. And also, I'm currently actively working on gathering data for peer tutors in specific based on the Kodiak concerns. So I'll be keeping you guys updated on that. And thank you all for being here. I really look forward to some help.
Thank you, Secretary Goodman. Were there any senators' questions for any of those previous executive reports? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the Secretary's report. Just for every senator's knowledge, typically the Secretary does not have a formal executive report. However, since Secretary Brown was not able to speak at transitions, this will be the time for her to speak. And also sometimes the Secretary might have something to report on, but this is not a standing executive report. But yeah, with that being said, I will allocate 4 minutes. Secretary Brown, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So I'm Brianna Brown. As a little intro, I'm a freshman law major with a minor in journalism, and I do have a little thing to read. I'm looking forward to my upcoming term as Secretary of the Student Senate. During my term, I hope to enhance communication between Student Senate and the Western to keep the student body informed on what Senate is working on, accomplishing, and future ideas. I welcome the opportunity to maintain efficiency and organization of Student Senate operations through accurate meeting notes and upholding the Senate values. I look forward to the privilege of working alongside the rest of the executive board to enhance life here at Western New England University. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Brown. So that concludes the executive reports. Again, any senators' questions for any of the reports? Great, seeing none, then we'll move on to senators' comments. Are there any senators' comments? Senator Bolio?
If like none of you are doing anything Sunday, WNE Music has our showcase on Sunday at 3 in Wood Auditorium. We have a couple new groups, including jazz band and then Bears Ensemble, the audition group. But it's going to be the biggest one we've had yet with the most amount of groups. And it's at 3 o'clock in Wood on Sunday either.
Great, thank you, Senator Bolio. Treasurer Thurston.
This weekend is spring event, so please be at the Grave Friday and then the Carnival Saturday. Let me know if you need any more information on that.
Great, thank you, Treasurer Thurston. Senator Mazzaferro.
Next Monday is Mural Club Spring Olympics event. There's gonna be Olive Garden. You can attend Camp CCA. Be there. It's spring.
Thank you, Senator. Any other senators' comments?
Just to re-emphasize that spring event thing, you are all required to be there for at least one of the days, and I will know. But also it's gonna be really fun, and we're working really hard on it, and it's a large amount of money going into this event, so do not miss out on quite literally the biggest event of the spring semester.
To my knowledge, your assignments should be getting clarified or sent out via email soon. So if that's something you guys don't receive and would like to receive it, please let me know and I'll get that done.
And new senators aren't necessarily part of that, but anyone who is returning, you should have signed up for a shift last term and you should be working that.
If you want to volunteer and you're not signed up, let me know.
Thank you. Any other senators' comments? Senator Dillon?
I have a question for campus relations. In between the Welcome Center and Herman, along like between the UV Commons, the bike rack over the winter was plowed over. And so like now there's just a ton of bolts sticking out of the ground. Would you be able to address that?
Yeah,
Kind of awkward to walk by every day with boards and stuff.
Chairperson Marquin will look into that. Thank you, Senator Dillon. Any other senators' comments? Great, seeing none, then I move to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Great, we'll move into a voice vote though. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? With that, then the meeting is adjourned. Yes, we were, period.
Good job, Madam President.
Thank you.
And Madam Vice Chair.